Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Dave's Top 3,000 Songs of the Rock Era. Today I'm up to song number 2100, and that one is Gitarzan by Ray Stevens. This one came out in 1969. Here's a picture of the single. It was also released on his 1969 album, the same title, Gitarzan. And here's a picture of Ray Stevens around the time we recorded it. This is a pretty funny novelty song. I'm gonna play a sample of it and react to it. So anyway, here it goes. So let's do this slide here.
On Saturday night they need some excitement. Jane gets right, monkey gets tight. Voices unite in the pale moonlight. Sounds alright, yeah, it's dynamite. It's out of sight, let's hear it right now. Baby! Oh, baby! Oh, baby! Shut up, baby, I'm trying to sing. Get it. Gitarzan and his jungle band. They're all you can stand. Give 'em a hand. Gitarzan, baby. Yeah, Gitarzan and his jungle band. They're all you can stand. A little applause. Gitarzan.
Okay, that's about a minute of Gitarzan by Roy Stevens. A pretty funny song, I think. He was known for writing a lot of pretty amusing novelty songs, including this one. And this was a pretty big hit of his. It went all the way to number 8 in 1969. Yeah, what else could I say about this song? I think it kind of speaks for itself mainly, I mean, making fun of Tarzan. I think you guys are all familiar with the legend of Tarzan. Pretty famous story. They made a lot of movies and TV shows about Tarzan. I forget who the author was, but it was an American author who first wrote about Tarzan, I think, in the early 20th century, and got very popular, and turned into a lot of icons in our popular culture. I guess he was supposed to be some British aristocrat who ended up stranded in Africa and makes a life there, becomes a wild jungle man there, swinging from trees, and he finds a woman there named Jane. And I guess in the song, Ray Stevens thought it'd be clever if he put them, him and Jane and a monkey, a pet monkey of theirs, into a jungle rock band, which is what he did with this song, which I think is pretty funny. Anyway, yeah, I guess that's enough said about the song. Was covered. There were a couple covers of this song. I don't think either of them were big hits, but in 1983, it was covered by an animatronic robot band called Rocket Five Explosion, and then in 2007, it was covered by country music parodist Cletus T. Judd. I don't think I've heard either of those covers, but I do like Ray Stevens' original version of the song. And now I guess I should say a little bit about Ray Stevens, the artist. He was born in he's still alive. He was born in 1939 in what was it? His birthday was Harold Ray Ragsdale, and he was born in Clarkdale, Georgia. 1939. He's now 87 years old. And his music covered a lot of different genres. He was a singer and songwriter and a comedian. And I think most of his songs were novelty songs, but he also did country, pop, and gospel. And now I guess I'm just gonna go through his hits. He had a lot of hits, a lot of pop hits. Most of them were novelty songs. His first hit was in 1960, and I think this has the record for the longest song title of any Billboard hit. It was called Jeremiah Peabody's Polyunsaturated, Quick Dissolving, Fast Acting, Pleasant Tasting Green and Purple Pills. 13 words and 94 letters. And that one went to number 35. And then he followed that up in 1962 with a song called Ahab the Arab, which went to number 5. I don't know if that could be a hit today because I think it's kind of a racist title. And then he had Furthermore, Santa Claus is Watching. Oh, no, Furthermore, that was one song. That went to number 91. And then he had Santa Claus is Watching You, which went to 45. In 1963, he had Funny Man, which went to 81. Harry the Hairy Ape, which went to 17. Speedball, which went to 59. And then 1966, he had Freddie Feelgood and his funky little 5-piece band, which went to 91. In 1968, he had Unwind, which went to 52, and Mr. Businessman, which went to 28. In 1969, he had the song I'm featured today, Gitarzan, which went to number 8. And then he had a cover of another very funny song originally recorded by the Coasters called Along Came Jones. That one went to number 27. I think the Coasters' original version's on my list, but Ray Stevens' version isn't. Then he had a song called Sunday Morning Coming Down, which went to number 81. In 1970, he had what I think is kind of a peace and love anthem called Everything is Beautiful. That one went all the way to number 1. His first of 2 number 1 songs. That one's coming up quite for higher on it, by the way. And then he had America Communicate With Me, which went to 45. Sunset Strip, which went to 81. Bridget the Midget, the Queen of the Blues, which went to 50. And A Man and His Papa, A Mama and His Papa, which went to 82. In 1971, he had All My Trials, which went to 70. And Turn Your Radio On, which went to 63. In 1974, he had his second and final number 1, another novelty song, pretty funny one called The Streak. That one's coming up quite a bit higher on my list as well. Kind of cashed in on the streaking phase with that. I don't know if you remember the Streakers in the mid 70s was kind of a popular fad for a while. People ran around naked. And then he had a song called Moonlight Special, which went to number 73. And then 1975, he had Misty Told Jazz, and that went to 14. And then Indian Love Call, which went to 68. Sounds like another racist title. And then in 1976, he had Young Love, which went to 93. In 1977, he had a very funny cover of a kind of swing standard called In the Mood. And his version sounded like chickens singing it. Ba, 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 ba. That one didn't make my list, by the way. Maybe it was an oversight. I don't know. That went to number 40. And then finally in 1979, he had I Need Your Help, Barry Manilow, which went to 49. I haven't heard that one, but I'm sure it's pretty funny. But anyway, those were the hits for Ray Stevens. Pretty prolific artist and pretty great one too, I'd say. And oh yeah, the other thing I forgot to mention was in Gitarzan, he used a line from Bing Crosby from Swinging on a Star. I guess that's where he had come up with the phrase boogie woogie. I wasn't familiar with this from before. I guess this came out probably even before the Andrews Sisters hit song Boogie Woogie Bugle Boy. Anyway, just thought I'd mention that. So that completes my feature for today on Gitarzan by Ray Stevens. So thank you for watching. You guys rock, and I'll see you next time. Bye.